being baffled by people who tell me don't talk about other so-called creators, because when I point out that somebody lied and they have no problem with the lie, but me pointing it out, don't bother commenting seriously, then I think that channel is probably right for you, because you don't mind being lied to, but I do. And it doesn't matter who's doing the lying. I am here to uncover everything that is not genuine, anything that is agenda driven, and anything that shows intentions other than what the person wants me to believe he or she has.
Version first released to the public. But it didn't take long before that date, May 2nd, started to feel more like a curtain than a clue, because school records revealed something else entirely. Neither child had attended school.
And that is exactly what the problem is, that they did not think about always what, when somebody gives you unnecessary information, there's a reason. But when people leave out something, that is a huge red flag, people. And when Daniel Martell told us that Lily had a cough and wasn't in school on Friday, and left out that she wasn't in school on Thursday, that needs to be noted.
School that entire week, and the school bus driver confirmed that the last time he saw them was on Tuesday.
Exactly. And the only logical thing for Daniel Martell to have said would have been Lily wasn't in school Thursday and Friday because she had a cough. What about Jack? He went into the preparation preschool or something like that. What about Jack? Did he have a cough too? You didn't explain this to us. But the fact that he left out Thursday and only volunteered Friday is a very big red flag, because he wanted to explain why on that particular Friday she disappeared alongside her brother. He didn't want to volunteer Thursday, people, because I believe Wednesday was when it happened and Thursday was too close to that. He didn't want to explain anything about those days. He wanted you to forget anything before Friday and start right there.
April the 29th, 3 days before the family ever called police. No one saw them on Wednesday.
Yep.
No one saw them on Thursday. And yet, on Friday morning, their parents suddenly reported them missing.
Exactly. Exactly.
Just hours after supposedly hearing them play in the next room. But if that story were true, why had no one outside the home seen the children in days? These missing days.
We don't know about their patterns either. Who came by? We don't know anything. Do the kids have play dates with other kids, or do they, in this remote area, really just play with each other unless they go to school? I don't know. Would be interesting to hear a little bit more, right?
Days, April 30th and May 1st, have since become some of the most heavily scrutinized in the case. Investigators refer to them as the gap days, and for good reason, because those are the hours where anything could have happened.
Exactly.
And no one was watching.
Yep.
Malahia Brooks Murray, the children's mother, told police she kept the kids home because Lily had a cough. But there's no medical record, no pediatrician's note, no pharmacy visit, no witness. Just two adults already under pressure, explaining away a disappearance with nothing but their word.
Yep. Only their word. A complete lack of anything that can be corroborated by people outside of the family of Daniel Martell's.
Even more disturbing.
And the more we see of the cover up, the deeper it gets, the more severe the crime very often. Meaning, if there was no big deal, if it was something that's fixable, something that doesn't have too many consequences, it would be much easier for one to say, okay, listen, don't make it worse, Daniel. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell them right now what happened. And then we get a lawyer, and then it's going to be, I think, okay, eventually. But no, when you see a huge cover up, allegedly, in my opinion, the deeper it gets, the worse, many times, the worse the crime that's been committed, people. So I don't look for, um, yeah, I mean, Jack, I think something really bad happened to him. As for Lily, I don't know. I don't have the right statements yet to examine. She kept coming in and out of the room, right? Why? What did she want? And what happened to Jack?
There was no Amber Alert issued.
I appreciate the huge search effort going on right now, but we've been pushing for an Amber Alert, which hasn't been
But
issued. Not just that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been, but
not just that they could possibly have been. Well, what else? Not just that.
just an alert to let everyone know that they are missing.
Despite the fact
The status of missing is important to her, not the status of the possibility, the suspicion of potential foul play. That's what she's trying to avoid. She wants the status to be missing and only missing, so it can never turn into a criminal investigation.
the two small children had allegedly vanished in the middle of a wooded, isolated area. Authorities never triggered a provincial alert. No emergency broadcast, no highway signs, no phone notifications, just silence. It's a decision that stunned the public. But for seasoned investigators, it may have signaled something deeper.
Yep. I think they were looking for bodies and they actually told us they don't think they're alive, but they didn't say exactly why they wouldn't be alive, right? Did they specify it was about the conditions? I don't know, maybe I missed it. But maybe it indicates something completely different. It may have been that they suspected that Daniel had gotten rid of their bodies on Friday morning. Not looking back as far as they look at now. But that may have been why they've been scouring in this 5 kilometer radius, right? That they think maybe this is how far he could have gotten that morning to get rid of their bodies. And she doesn't seem like somebody anxious to save two missing children's lives. She seems much more contained, and she seems to me, and I will say it like that, that's just my impression, it's like somebody who knows a lot more than she is able to say right now. And I think from the very beginning, they've been looking at the parents.
Doubt. Because Amber Alerts aren't just reserved for known abductions, they're tools to mobilize attention when time matters most. And their absence here suggests
Exactly.
that from the very beginning, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police suspected that something wasn't adding up, not in the forest, but at home.
Yes. Red flags, but physical evidence.
I know they took their boots. That's pink boots for Lily. blue boots for Jack with dinosaurs on them. Lily had her backpack with white, and it was white.
Lily had the. Wait, let me see what this dude's saying. Right here?
Because Amber Alerts aren't just reserved for known abductions.
Yep.
They're tools to mobilize attention when time matters most. And their absence here suggests that from the very beginning, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police suspected that something wasn't adding up.
Absolutely.
Not in the forest, but at home.
Absolutely, exactly.
I know they took their boots. That's pink boots for Lily, blue boots.
I know they took their boots. Who took them? Not they. I think they wore their boots. But I know they took them. Who took them? And he says blue boots for Jack. Can you see this? For Jack.
Boots for Jack with dinosaurs on them. Lily had her backpack with white, and it was white.
One more
Strawberries on
time.
it. I imagine now.
I want to make sure.
I know they took their boots. That's pink boots for Lily, blue boots for Jack with dinosaurs.
He didn't say who took the boots. He said they. That indicates to me that somebody else had gotten rid of them alongside their boots. He doesn't say Lily took her boots, Jack took his boots. I want you to really zoom in on this one, okay?
I know they took their boots. That's pink boots.
They took the boots for Lily. Somebody took the pink boots for Lily. Not Lily took her boots or Lily wore her boots for Lily. On Lily's behalf, somebody took the boots to make sure they disappeared alongside the children.
For Lily, blue boots for Jack.
For again. Blue boots for Jack. Somebody says, let's take these pink boots for Lily. And we'll take these blue boots for Jack. Or he told somebody, take these pink boots for her and the blue boots for him to make sure we can sell an abduction or eloping.
Dinosaurs on them. Lily had her backpack with white, and it was white. Strawberries on it.
One more time.
Lily, blue boots for Jack with dinosaurs on them. Lily had her backpack.
Didn't say Lily took her backpack. Lily had her backpack.
With white, and it was white. Strawberries on it.
Let's make sure she has her backpack with her.
I imagine now if they're in the woods that it'd be probably brown, but I don't see them.
What happened to the kids, Daniel? Why would her backpack be brown now? And what makes you so? Are they buried somewhere? Did somebody bury them? What happened, Daniel? You know what happened. I don't see them carrying their backpack. Them. And here's singular. Lily was in school, enrolled in school, I mean. I think that Thursday morning, or Friday, Wednesday evening already, her backpack was ready for the next day, and then something happened. And he didn't see her carrying it. She had her backpack. So whenever I believe the children may have been transported away, they put the backpack with her to make sure She had her backpack and it wasn't in the house.
Carrying their backpack. I don't see them keeping a pull-up on for that long after it got soaked from the very first day.
So, was the backpack ready for school? Did he have to get rid of it in order to not mess up a timeline he was going to sell later, and may have messed up with that and made some hasty decisions? And the pull-up, listen to this.
I know they took their boots. That's pink boots for Lily, blue boots for Jack, with dinosaurs on them. Lily had her backpack with white, and it was white, strawberries on it. I imagine now if they're in the woods that it'd be probably brown, but I don't see them carrying their backpack.
Right, you
I
didn't
don't see them keeping a pull-up on for that long.
I don't see them keeping a pull-up on for. Was Lily in pull-ups too? Please don't tell me that 6-year-old Lily was in pull-ups too. For how long? For how long? Was it Saturday? I don't even know when that interview was. Listen to this.
After it got soaked from the very first day.
From the very first day, which was what, Wednesday or Thursday morning hours? I think something happened on Wednesday, maybe early Thursday morning hours. The very first day. What was the very first day, Daniel? And he's not saying the first day, he's saying the very first day. That indicates to me that there was a first day that he is selling to us. He's selling the Friday as a first day. But there was also a very first day, which could have been Wednesday, or if the transport happened afterwards, allegedly, on Thursday. And it got soaked from the very first day. Are these kids in water? In brown water somewhere, in an area where, where the backpack would turn brown? And they got soaked from the very first day. Not Friday, but the very first day when they had gotten rid of their bodies, allegedly. Look at the words he chooses. The deeper we dig, the more we see. The very first day. It's similar to Malaya saying last night was one of the worst nights of my life. No, the first night your kids are missing would be the worst night. And it would have been the first and only night at that time on Saturday when she gave her interview. But she said one of the first nights. So the worst one was probably the night something happened and they disappeared. Do you see how your language can give you away?
We only found the 2 boot tracks outside of the.
The 2 boot tracks. I still don't know. Were they from the same size? Were they the same size? Was it a left and a right track from the same boots? Was it Lily's size? Was it Jack's size? Crap, man. I don't think you can get anything out of Canada information-wise other than what they come up and tell you. But again, they're looking at them. I agree 100% from day one. I think there are no other suspects or there are no other possibilities that RCMP considers. They considered the possibility that Daniel may have possibly that morning gotten rid of the bodies. And they probably went as far as they think he could have gotten. And he said they took the boots. Not they wore the boots. Not Lily and Jack wore the boots. Somebody gotten rid of the kids for them. That's what I think this language indicates right here. So, too bad they didn't have an analyst, a forensic linguist, or somebody who not just an analyst, but a good one, who would have immediately worked the case, focused only on that case, and said, listen, we need to look further out there. But then again, we don't know how far those people, and it's more than one, they would have transported the kids away. Yeah, they could have dumped them somewhere in that area. So after they finished searching, they went back to their home and they said, okay, now we're done. We are stopping this right now. We haven't found anything, and now we can look at them. They may have thought, we're going to find some bodies, 2 bodies, and then we have more to go by. Then we can have an autopsy. And like I said, they told us they don't think these kids are alive anymore. Not because of the cold and everything, right? Unless I missed something. But they think the kids are no longer alive. Daniel is trotting along, pretending to search, but he says they are far out there. There is no we. Not we are searching. I am searching. I'm far ahead of them. Meaning, I want to be looked at as somebody who cares the most, as I should, because these are kids that lived with me for 3 years. But he separates himself between the searchers and him. He knows he is being suspected, in my opinion. And there is no unity between him and the searchers. There is him playing his game, him pretending to search, and them doing the actual search.
The house.
Whereabouts?
Right beside the house, probably 10 feet away from the backyard.
In the backyard, okay.
Nothing new other than the helicopter.
So what he has is an audience, and he's trying to utilize that and make himself look like he participates, but he doesn't really, because they are doing their thing. There is no unity. He's not searching with them. He even said, that guy in a military uniform, he feels a need to explain why just for a short time he didn't do any searching. It wasn't because I know where they are and that's not where they are, but because a guy in a military uniform, meaning you have to believe me, I had zero power over this. You have to believe me, I would have kept searching, please believe me.
Helicopters are still in the air.
Helicopters are still in the air. He's expecting this to stop at any time. And he's not giving it too much significance because he knows the kids won't be found there.
And they had dogs. They took around the dogs today. And as of last night, they had 8 more drones going on with infrared. I urge the public to come out if you have anything, come out backyard.
In the backyard, okay.
Sorry about
Nothing
that.
new other than the helicopters are still in the air. And they had dogs. They took around the dogs today. And as of last night, they had 8 more drones going on with infrared. I urge the public to come out
I could urge the public to come out and he stops himself. He was going to say as fast as possible, but he says as if you have anything. He is worried about something coming out about him. That's why come out is sensitive to him. And he then states, if you have anything, not something specific, anything, help me out. Keep leading the police on a wild goose chase. Similar to Chris Proudfoot. Anywhere. Call in anything, but do not look at my family.
If you have anything, come out as fast as possible and
Anything.
get it to...
Okay, I guess they call it detachment over there from the RCMP, right? This particular group that is searching is an RCMP detachment. I wasn't familiar with that in my last video.
Any detachment or any police service that you have available to get to talk to.
To get to talk to.
It started with something simple.
Mm-hmm.
A question about what 4-year-old Jack was wearing the
Yes.
morning he vanished.
Yes.
According to the initial statement, he had been in nothing but a pull-up diaper and his dinosaur print shoes.
Same as Sebastian Rogers. He had no shoes, but same as Sebastian Rogers. Sebastian Rogers had nothing on except a pair of glasses, carrying a flashlight. What kind of description is that? You want to look for a nude 15-year-old boy with glasses, wearing glasses and carrying a flashlight. Where is the description that can help? Where is the urgency here? Where is your... If you don't remember well, you will say, wait. Okay, I don't know. I don't remember, because he never said he saw. He said he saw him. He said Lily came into the room multiple times. I've seen her that morning, and Jack was out playing in the kitchen, I'm guessing, and they did open the backslide. You see, now when I read the statement, it's still on my board. I'm laughing because of how obvious it is. How obviously deceptive he is. He said, I seen her that morning. He's seen her at one point. He wants to say that morning, but he doesn't even mention Jack. Just he said Jack was out. So when something happened, did he not want to look at him? Did he not want to look closely at him? Did he forget? Even if you forget, you would say, if this was true, you would say, okay, that was Friday morning, right? Friday? That's what you're asking me, Friday, right? Okay, Friday. Okay, I didn't see him that morning. But here is what he went to bed in before. I looked through his clothing, and I think what is missing is this or that, because it seems like nobody, did nobody dress him that morning? Did Lily dress him? What about the pull-up? Ah, did he take off his pajamas and put on something and just take the pull-up and throw it in a corner somewhere because it was full? Maybe not just from last night, but from the later day before. Maybe nobody bothered if there was a drug party on Wednesday evening, a so-called drug party or a get-together, or allegedly, whatever, what have you, right? Feel me?
A detail that would strike any parent as painfully specific. But then quietly, that story changed. Later interviews described Jack in brown pants
Later.
and a matching brown shirt.
Right, all of a sudden it comes to you. Likely after people said, what the hell? What are you talking about here? What was he wearing? Why are you not at least trying to let us know how to recognize him?
Fully dressed. No explanation was offered for the shift. No acknowledgement that a correction had.
And tell us how you know. If you didn't see him that morning, how do you know? Lily wasn't there to answer and say, no. I gave him his pants and he put them on, or I helped him put them on. No, none of that. None of that. How would you know? No, I think, but all of a sudden, okay. Let me try to remember. Okay.
Had even been made. But in a case where 2 children are missing without a trace, the idea that a parent can't recall what their child was wearing is not just concerning, It's a signal,
Oh, yeah.
a red flag waving in plain sight. In a case clouded by silence, it's often the smallest, quietest details that carry the most weight.
Yeah.
And for 6-year-old Lily Sullivan, that detail may have been a pink blanket. Software innocent, easily overlooked until it became the only possible thread linking a missing child to a timeline already falling
I have to admit, I don't know about the pink blanket. If that is significant, please fill me in, people.
apart. Weeks after Lily and her brother Jack vanished, a recording surfaced, an internal communication that changed everything. In the audio, a woman's voice, believed to be Lily's mother,
Really?
suggests that her daughter's favorite pink blanket might have been left behind somewhere in the woods. It's a brief comment,
Really?
almost forgettable, but its implications are enormous because in earlier reports, it wasn't the mother who spoke about the blanket. It was Daniel Martell, the children's stepfather, who had confidently told investigators it had already been found near the home. He
Really?
didn't hesitate. He didn't speculate. He stated it as fact. Now, with it,
So could it have been that the pink blanket was supposed to be used to transport the kids away and hide them or something, and then it was left behind somewhere? But where? I'm sorry, but I missed that part. So that's the problem with like Plunder. I don't know, was it on Plunder maybe, and I missed it because yeah, she compiles things, but I always see that's why I always go to the highlights first, and then I little by little dig deeper because then I realize where to dig.
this new recording, the question isn't just where the blanket is, it's who first said what and why their stories don't match. When
And-
evidence is scarce and
And who took it for them, and for what purpose?
emotions run high,
Right? Right.
even something as gentle as a child's blanket can become the loudest contradiction of all. And then there's the door. According to the parents, the children slipped out through the sliding glass door sometime early in the morning, but there was no sound, no alert, nothing to stir two adults who claimed they were just feet away, asleep in the next room.
And neither of them, right? Neither of them. 4 ears, no sound. Yeah, right.
Yet anyone who's ever lived in a small mobile home knows this. You hear everything.
Looks like
The
it.
thud of footsteps, the squeak of hinges, the slide of a door,
Right.
especially a door that's not designed to close quietly. The idea that two children could open a glass
Yeah, I would love to test the sliding door, and the fact that they want to sell it to us as so quiet makes me also think it wasn't. They felt the need to convince us because they know they would have heard the noise if what they say was true.
door and step outside without waking a single adult in the house
Yep.
is more than unlikely. It's implausible,
Yep.
especially when the house layout makes it nearly impossible to move
Yep.
without being noticed.
Red flags about the scene. Please give it to me.
No footprints, no torn fabric, no drag marks in the dirt, not even a scent trail for the K9 units to follow. It was
And the flag cannot get any redder, and that indicates transporting with the vehicle for there not to be any scent whatsoever.
as if the forest had swallowed them whole.
No,
but without
not the forest, dude. Because the dogs, from what I understand, did the dogs head towards the forest even? Or did they just stop at the two footprints or whatever, or the starting point? Is that the furthest they got? Was it the two footprints? From what I understand, that was the furthest they had gotten. So the forest didn't swallow them. Something did right there on a road. Most likely a car swallowed them and then disappeared. As soon as I seen they were gone, that's what Daniel said. He saw them leave. Immediately jumped in the car and did. Whose car, by the way? In the car. Your car? Did all the dirt roads. As soon as I seen they were gone, he seen them going away. Before, they must have got out through the back fence, and then they were. As soon as I seen they were gone, he saw. Okay, they disappeared in the distance. They are now gone. I seen it.
Disturbing a single leaf. Search and rescue teams, some with decades of experience, called it one of the most perplexing sights they'd ever encountered.
Right.
In typical lost child scenarios.
And from what I was told there in Canada, I mean, in these, they keep searchers on a need-to-know basis. So they're not necessarily saying we're looking for 2 dead bodies because I think the dad and the mom, well, something happened in the trailer allegedly. They just say go search for 2 kids, dead or alive. I think that, and then little by little the searchers were like, what are we doing here? Well, they may not be alive anymore, but what are we doing here? At least already when the dogs didn't give any hint that there was anything worth looking for, right? These searchers must have thought, oh God, here's one of these other cases where we just have to, okay. They must have been frustrated about the disconnect of information. I would have been.
Even under dense canopy or poor weather, dogs will usually catch something.
Yep.
Any residual trace of presence. But this time, they didn't.
Right.
The terrain was scent rich. Still, the air held nothing. Only one partial clue was ever noted.
Yep.
2 small footprints near the rear of the trailer. But even that raised more questions than answers.
Yep.
If 2 children had been playing outside that...
What about tire tracks? But then again, did Daniel ride the car back and forth a couple of times to may have been able to get rid of certain tire? Sad to see these kids, man. And they, yeah. Wow. Never forget what we're actually looking for here. For whom we are doing this, right? Yeah. Wow.
That morning, why only 2 prints? Why only 1 set of tracks? Inside the home, investigators found chaos.
1 set of
toys
tracks.
Scattered, track or weather.
Oh my God, I don't know any
Dogs will usually catch something, any residual trace of presence.
And now you're wondering why I'm watching this, because, well, let me assume for a minute this is all true. That's why I don't want to listen to 2-hour stream about whatchamacallit, audio from police scanners, because just like I go straight to the jugular, to the parts that stand out to me immediately the very most, and then work my way in there into a case, I would love to have a channel that actually is dedicated just to the facts, to fill in my blanks, so I can only focus on the analysis of the statements given, without the commentary, without the guesses, without all of the hoopla and, oh, super chat, bling, and blah, 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 blah. Oh, Tracy, I haven't seen you for hours, for days. Oh, you're welcome back. Oh, you're late to my chat. Oh my God. You know what I mean? I would love to just see something that is doing what Plunder is doing, but a little bit more of a direct, goal-oriented approach. listening to it and then saying, okay, here, this part maybe, this, okay, let me just play you this for 10 or 15 minutes. Because I'm not sure exactly why, but she's saying, yeah, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to say anybody, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, if you don't want to say anything, then that's exactly what you accomplish. You're not really saying anything that is as important as it could be, right? And yes, I will voice my thoughts here because I'm not only looking at the statements, but anything else that could help us fill in more blanks.
But this time, they didn't. The terrain was scent rich.
Mm-hmm.
Still, the air held nothing.
Right.
Only one partial clue was ever noted: 2 small footprints near the rear of the trailer. But even that raised more questions than answers. If 2 children had been playing outside that morning,
Yes.
why only 2 prints? Why only one set of tracks? Inside the home.
Is he talking about tire tracks? Okay. Or footprint tracks? I don't know. What is he talking about here?
Investigators found chaos.
Really?
Toys scattered. Trash in the yard.
Yeah.
The kind of disarray that didn't scream panic or grief, but carelessness. It didn't look like a place that had just suffered the terror of a child's disappearance. It looked lived in.
But if this is what it's always been like, why would they want to clean it up right now? That would be messing with a crime scene, right, dude? A potential crime scene, sorry. Or a scene of interest. I don't know what I would call it right now. Or what they call it, the police.
Unbothered routine. And in a case built on the absence of evidence, even the mess becomes part of the mystery.
It's an everyday mess there, probably. Red flags from tactical choices and redeployment. Stay tuned.
In most missing child cases, the search starts big and tightens over time. But in the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan, something strange happened. It started big, then stopped altogether.
Really?
And when it resumed, it did so quietly, cautiously.
Tell me.
Like someone had seen something they weren't ready to explain. For the first 7 days after the call came in, RCMP poured resources into the wooded terrain surrounding the family's rural home.
And?
Helicopters, drones, ground teams.
Okay, I'm going to stop right now, people. I know it's only been 42 minutes, but I will continue soon. And thank you all for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, unless something good is coming.
9 units. It was an exhaustive operation, at least at first. Then just as suddenly as it began, the search was suspended.
Okay, I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.